Hey Latchkey kids and driving mutants, I'm Lady Shasha, mistress of the snark, connoisseur of gore, and your hostess with the mostest. I just watched Leatherface, released in 2017. This is a prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. This takes place in 1955. It opens with a birthday party for a little boy named Jed at the Sawyer family home. They have someone tied up and they encourage little Jed to do his first chainsaw killing. He fails at this and the matriarch of the family tells him that he let them down. Later on, there's a young couple that is tricked into stopping their car, and the young lady gets out to check on an animal that might be injured in the road. Turns out not to be an animal, but a trap. And it's during this sequence that I noticed some homages being paid to the original. Like the angle of the camera when the girl is walking is almost identical to the angle of the camera when the girl is walking, the one in the red shorts, in the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Stephen Dorff shows up playing a sheriff, and Lily Taylor plays the matriarch of the Sawyer family. The sheriff's daughter is the victim of the Sawyer family, but he can't prove it. So what he does do is get all the children removed from the Sawyer family's home. Being that the Sawyer family is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, all their children end up in a psychiatric facility for teenagers. This movie tells the story of the Sawyer children. They end up escaping the facility and take a nurse hostage. We go on a wild journey with them and see how psychotic some of them already are and how one particular one was pushed into being psychotic. This movie features one super gross sex scene. On a scale of Della Morte Dell'Amore to necromantic, this is right in the middle. Still very gross though. There are also some super tense scenes, like the rock scene. I'm phrasing it that way so as not to spoil this. If you've seen the rock scene, you know what I'm talking about. There is one scene in this that you really have to suspend your disbelief because it is just, it doesn't make sense. I don't see how that could happen. It's not realistic. This movie did succeed at making me feel really bad for the Sawyer child that did eventually become Leatherface, in a similar way that Friday the 13th makes you feel bad for Jason Voorhees. The gore is moderate when compared to something like My Bloody Valentine or Pieces, but it's still great looking. We actually do get to see a chainsaw make contact with a body, and they don't cut away like they do in 2 out of the 3 sequels that I spoke about earlier. There was some really great gore in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but that's about it in this series before you get to this film. We also get to see the origin of the very first skin mask that Leatherface ever made, and that was pretty cool. I went into this with very, very low expectations, especially coming off of just having watched Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation, which are the 3rd and 4th installment in these series, and I didn't like either one of those, so I went into this with very, very low expectations, and I was delightfully surprised. I really liked this movie. There was a couple slow moments, but for the most part, I think it was a pretty solid prequel, and that's hard to do. It also contains an interesting reveal that I didn't see coming. At the time of this recording, Leatherface was available for free on the Pluto TV app, and I say that because, like I always say, don't take my word for it. Watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it. Just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Have you seen Leatherface, the 2017 movie? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Until next time, bye-bye.